interest rates at 7% are destroying the market for newly built homes. I don't mean new build homes. I mean newly built homes built in the last handful of years. And this is actually a tale of kind of two different markets that we have here, at least in the Denver metro area, where I know our building outpaces a lot of other metro cities in the country. We're going to break it all down for you in kind of this mid-March update as the spring season is ramping up and buyers are coming off the fence, more sellers are coming off the fence. We're getting into our busy season. Let's take a look at what is actually going on here and why this segment of the market is actually struggling pretty good. My name is Alex Saldana. I'm a local Denver real estate agent. If you are new here and on this channel, I try to answer all the questions you buyers have, you sellers, homeowners have, try to keep you up to date on what the Denver market is doing. Now, in this case, it's no joke, where interest rates are. We all know that they're hovering around 7%. They have been for almost a year. They peaked out at almost 8.5, something like that. And they're down a little bit, and they've just kind of been chilling, right? CPI inflation data hasn't done a whole lot. It's actually gone up more than they thought. So we're thinking interest rates might actually hang on for a bit longer, likely the entire year of 2024. Heck, we've been saying that for almost a year and a half now by the end of this year, interest rates are going to drop. Just goes to show you, nobody knows what's actually going to happen with interest rates. So what we're looking at here is the closed price over the last 15 years of homes in different year-built categories. From 1960 and before, 1960 to 1980, 81 to 2000, and 2001 and later. And that's the one we're going to focus on the most here. So as we just start here with closed prices, we're going to see that the closed prices for the newer built homes, 2001 and later, are higher, right? The average price is about $595,000, or the median price, I should say. Whereas the other categories fall between $500,000 to $550,000, right? Newer built homes tend to be more expensive in general, and most newer homes are, at least in the Denver metro area, if you're in the city proper, well north of $2 million, right? If you're further out, Parker, Highlands Ranch and stuff, they're still most likely north of $1 million. There's a handful of pockets where they're in the 600s, right? Reunion, Southern Highlands Ranch, Ken Carl area has some, Littleton has some, and, they try to make those affordable houses for new builds in the 600s. But as we look deeper into the numbers, and really this has come up because we've had a few listings lately that we've really struggled with, right? Very slow showings, one showing a week. The offers coming in are not ideal. Appraisal issues is a big one right now with these newer built homes, depending on your pocket. And so, I wanted to dig in to find out what's going on here. Why is there such a discrepancy? The stuff in the more proper Denver metro area, stuff built in the 60s and the 80s, we're still getting a rapid amount of showings. Multiple offers is not uncommon whatsoever, but we're just not seeing that in homes built basically from after 2015, 2016. Okay. So let's go into the numbers further, and I'm going to tell you why this is really happening. And once you hear it, you're going to go, duh, that makes perfect sense. Looking at the amount of new listings. So it's not uncommon. This yellow line here is the new listings. Let me just zoom out to just 5 years. Makes a little more sense. So we can see, we've got basically 3,000 new listings to hit the market in February of 2024. The majority of homes coming on the market are newer built properties. And the reasons for that are just that we're continuing to build homes, right? So over time, people move every 7 to 10 years or so, and we just have a lot more newer homes coming on than we do older homes as the city grows. So now active listings, this is where we're starting to see some discrepancy. We actually saw it last year as well. Current active listings on the MLS today, if you were shopping for a home, you would be looking at 5,400 properties built at the year 2001 or later. I wish I could really dive down and get the last 4 or 5 years of this. They don't have that data available. And then you can see everything prior. We actually have, I did the math before we got on here, but it's like 4,800 or something like that for everything built prior to the year 2000 that is active on the market today. And everything from 2001 and beyond is 5,400. So it's more active inventory on the market, newer built homes, than all other years of homes combined. Pretty interesting. Now, going over to closed listings, we can see, usually we sell more because we have more homes in this category than just about any other. And so, yes, we do sell more. However, the numbers don't add up, right? And so we sold basically in February 2,000 homes that were built at the year 2001 or later. And all other categories combined, we sold 2,500, right? So even though we have more newer homes on the market, we still sold more older homes on the market. Little bit of a discrepancy, which makes a supply and demand issue. And that's what you're going to see right here. So the month's supply of inventory basically states, hey, if no new homes were to come on the market today, how long would it take for the market to absorb that inventory? And essentially, we've got 2.5 months of newer built inventory on the market. And we have on average 1.8 months of inventory for the rest of all the years combined. Doesn't sound like a lot, but it's a 50% bump in the newer built properties as far as the amount of active inventory and months supply. And then we can also see days on MLS, just reflects what the averages are. So everything built prior to the year 2000 has an average of about 19 days on the market right now. So 2.5 weeks. Everything built after the year 2001 are 40 days on the market. So more than double the time on the market for the newer built properties. It's purely because of interest rates. Now, I can hear you saying, well, you can buy a 1960s home with a 7% interest rate. And you can buy a 2020 home with a 7% interest rate. So what do you mean? But a 2024 home is not being sold with a 7% interest rate at the mass majority of the time. Why? Because builders offer incentives for people to buy their homes. And they offer those incentives in the way of buying down your rate. And here's a quick example of what I mean. So Taylor Morrison Homes, they've got a handful of developments around the Denver metro area. I think their biggest one is kind of in the southwest part of Littleton, kind of Ken Carlish area. And they're advertising out there 5.5% fixed rate for 30 years. So your traditional buy down rate. But look at what they're also advertising. As I scroll down here, they're advertising conventional 30-year fixed at 4.49%. So what is happening here? How are they offering homes at a much lower interest rate? Well, it's called a buy down, right? You can offer a buyer a seller concession, or a buyer can ask for it on any home out there. And they can usually spend anywhere between $10,000 to $30,000 to buy down your rate, okay? What these new builders are doing is just offering that right out of the gate. Now, why are they offering that? Well, here's the reality. You build a new development community, everything's $600,000, right? That's what it is. That's what they're selling these 1,800 square foot single level ranches for, okay? Now, the market softens just a little bit, and you still have more supply coming on as a developer building 1,000 homes in one metro area. Well, what you don't want to do is all of a sudden start selling everything at $575,000. Why? Because the people that bought at $600,000 are going to be pissed off, and then prices are going to just slowly decline. What they do instead is offer, let's say in this case, a $25,000 seller concession to buy down your rate. Why? Because you still close at $600,000 on paper. That's what all the appraisers see. That's what you see on the MLS data. What you don't see is the amount of a seller concession. We can see that on the MLS, privy kind of information there. You as a retail consumer cannot see that information. So we can see, hey, they closed at $600,000, but there's a $25,000 seller concession. So on paper, you still closed at $600,000, but the seller really got $575,000 net, right? Not including realtor commissions, all that stuff. But that's why they do it, to keep the values up there. So that way when prices start on the upswing again at this time of year, now things can sell for $605, $610, $615 and get that bump, start to lower the amount of seller concessions they're offering. Everybody's happy at the end of the day. So now let's break this down. If you were a buyer in the market and we were out shopping and you could afford $600,000, this is what's happening, right? Everything built after 2020, they're virtually the same, right? It's all quartz countertops, shaker cabinets, either brushed nickel or kind of the new gold, knobs and pulls on things. All the doors are the same. Construction style is virtually the same on everything built in the last 4 to 5 years, okay? And so we go out shopping and your budget is $600,000. Well, we can look at houses built a few years ago in, let's say, the 550 mark, right? Save yourself a little bit on the budget. And what that looks like on your monthly payment here is, let's just plug this in. So if you were to buy a $550,000 newer built home around the Denver metro area, I'm putting down 20%. The down payment number really doesn't matter. It's just for purposes of this example here. At a 7% interest rate, okay, with calculating in property taxes, homeowners insurance, your monthly payment is going to be about $3,350, okay? Now, there's lots of other, adjustments to that based on your income and how much debts you have, all that stuff, but $3,350 a month, okay? 7% interest rate. Let's say we were to go look at a new build even for $50,000 more. Okay, a $600,000 home, 20% down payment at 4.5% interest rate. Same property taxes, same homeowners insurance, $2,880 a month. That's nearly a $500 difference from 4.5% interest at a $600,000 house versus a $550,000 house at a full boat 7% interest rate. That's a big difference, ladies and gentlemen. So when you're out shopping for homes, and this is what everybody seems to be doing right now, is those homes that were built 2020, 21, 22, 23, that are resale homes, right? So somebody bought them a few years later, they're selling them, they're moving for whatever reason. And when they go on the market, their competition is quite literally a brand new property that no one has owned before, that the builder is offering massive incentives to steer you in that direction for obvious reasons, right? To continue selling their product. So we're struggling in that range of homes that were built post 2020 approximately, where the other stuff in Denver proper, $600,000, $700,000, $800,000, $900,000 homes built in the 60s, 70s, 80s, like they're still going like gangbusters because the supply is so limited. And if you want to live in Littleton proper, in Centennial, in Denver proper, like you just don't have any other options. The new builds there, they're not offering these incentives because the new builds there are one-off or small builders at $2.5 million for a 4,000 square foot 2-story home. Now, if you have any questions on this, or you're struggling yourself on the buy side, the sell side, or you just want to talk about real estate in general, feel free, give me a call, shoot me a text message. And if you didn't see what the February numbers were for our Denver real estate market, check out this video. It's going to fill you in on all the details you want to know. And until the next time, happy housing.